Sky Blue Fans TV. For the fans, by the fans.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sky Blue Fans TV. My name's Mark Smith. Tonight we'll be talking about the 0-0 draw against Sunderland that was played yesterday, and part two of the show, we're talking a bit about players that we may be looking to bring in between now and the end of the transfer window. Got a couple of guests tonight. One new guest who I'll introduce in a bit, and first of all, got Reese, who's back again for another show. Reese, how are you doing?
Yeah, all good, Mark. Yourself, you all right?
Yes, yeah, not bad. I should have worn my Coventry shirt, and not clearly you're a more committed fan to me than I am. I'm just wearing a boring shirt today, so nothing great about that. But anyway, my second guest, I've got Sarah Phipps. Sarah, evening, how you doing?
Hi, Mark. Hi, Reese. How are you both?
Yeah, not bad. Good to have you on.
Thank you.
Good. Right, so we're going to talk a bit about yesterday's game against Sunderland. Let's kick things off with the team that Mark Robbins went for. He made two changes from the game at Swansea. Sakamoto and Haji Wright were benched. In their place, Casey Palmer came back into the team, and Ellis Sims got recalled for the game. Let's go to you, Reese. What was your thoughts originally of the team selection? Was that a team that you would have gone for if you was the manager?
I think Palmer is the obvious one to come back in. Obviously missed last week. With Sims, I was a bit surprised, but I can see what Robbins was trying to do. He probably thought, well, against the club he played for last year on loan, he might have had a bit more of an incentive to play him. But yeah, I probably would have gone with Wright, but I can obviously understand why he chose Sims.
Sarah, what was your thoughts on the team? Was you happy with that?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with Reese. I think you can see why they played him, get some pitch time for Sims, get him gelled in the team. But yeah, not a bad start.
Yeah, I mean, my personal thoughts was I was amazed that Ellis Sims got a start personally, because I thought Haji Wright has scored. He provided assist at Swansea. He looked like he was, playing quite well with Matty Godden. So I was pretty surprised with the selection. I know Miles and Ken were in support of that selection on the previous show, but my personal opinion was it was a ridiculous decision because I don't see why Haji Wright was dropped. And if I was Haji Wright, I'd be wanting to know why personally, because I think he's done quite well for us last couple of games. But I guess maybe the thought process was conversely is maybe it's Sunderland. He's played for Sunderland last season. Maybe feels like he's got something to prove. I don't know. Maybe that may be the only thinking that I could see behind it, or maybe he just wants to give Sims an opportunity to get that goal because obviously he had a very good pre-season, but obviously that goal has eluded him. But in fairness, Reese, I thought he looked quite lively first half, didn't he, Sims?
Yeah, I thought he improved for sure. I think he played a lot better than he has done. He's just got to find. I think yesterday we just need to gel. I think we've got a good team there. We've bought well. I just think yesterday things just weren't sitting right for us. I think going back on Sims, I think he just needs that goal, don't he? So I can understand why he started. Like I said, he probably had that incentive to play against Sunderland and prove a point. Yeah, he was slightly better. I think second half he faded a bit. I think there was a few counter-attacks that we had that he could have possibly made a few runs, but he seems to run with his defender rather than trying to run into space, because there was times when Eccles was breaking with the ball as well. If he would have taken a defender away from him, it would have left gaps open, possibly for Godden. But yeah, he had an opportunity, didn't he? A shot on goal. But yeah, slightly improved. But I think you can tell when he come off, Robbins had a lengthy chat with him. I think he looks like a player that is a confidence player. And I think if he scores one, he could probably up his game and score a couple more. But yeah, overall, I think it was an improved performance from him anyway.
Yeah.
He's still learning, isn't he? We've still got to get him in that position and get him to learn how the team play and what it's like out there. But yeah, I'm surprised he didn't come off sooner. But I'm not too surprised he started.
Yeah, I think he's got plenty to offer. And I think it's we've only is it 4 games into the season, so it's a bit. I think it's a bit. You can't write players off just yet. I think you've got to give them opportunity. I just base my opinion on what I've seen in the games this season. I think Hadji Wright has done enough to earn himself a starting spot there, but it is what it is. But let's get to the first half. I thought it was an encouraging first half by City. What was your thoughts, Sarah? I thought Casey Palmer was certainly involved with everything that was good about our attacking play, wasn't he?
Casey was everywhere, wasn't he? He had a real good first half. He was brilliant. There was plenty of opportunities. We looked promising. The crowd were behind them. It was excellent first half, I thought. Yeah, showing some good little bits that they're practicing in training. You can see it's all coming together. But like I say, I think everybody agrees. Getting it in that final third is just a little bit lackluster there, isn't it? They're certainly making it up the pitch and then just can't finish.
Yeah, very frustrating. I thought Reece. I thought there's a couple of times where Palmer played some excellent football, actually, generally sort of first time football, and there was one where I remember I think Palmer sort of chipped one in the box to Godden on the far post, and he didn't really make a good connection. But we just looked pretty good first. I think we played some good football, and I thought Sunderland were pretty defensive.
They were pretty average, weren't they? They didn't look the threat. They were, they were. Yeah, I think we run rings around them. They looked fairly average.
Yeah. Question here I've got from. I'll come back to that question in a minute, actually, but I want to go back to Casey Palmer from Sky Blue Sam. Is his end product in terms of goals and assists good enough for us? Reece? I'll go to Sarah after.
I think it is. I think Palmer was brilliant yesterday. I think him and Eccles were the pick of the bunch. Palmer I think he just needs to get fit, but he doesn't seem to have that 90 minutes in him. But I think even the second half he looked lively. But with Palmer, he was finding them passes, but the forward players weren't reading the pass. It's like we weren't on the same wavelength. And I just think that comes down to gelling. I think if we work on them in training, because Palmer can find a pass, we've seen that in the times last season, especially yesterday. He was finding them little gaps in defence, but Godden and Sims weren't really on the same wavelength. So I think it will come. I think it's just down to, Sims is new, Wright is new. We've got a lot of new players. So I just think it will click. I do believe it will click sooner rather than later. I just think it just weren't happening yesterday. It was just, you can see in the second half that we were tiring, and I think we could have nicked it. But on the other hand, Sunderland come back into it, didn't they?
Yeah, we'll talk about the second half a bit, but yeah, go on, Sarah.
I think if we had Kelsey playing into Hadji Wright, then it would have been a different game. Like you say, Mark, maybe you should have started. Maybe, I think I bow down to that one. I think, Wright should have started. We'd have seen a different. Casey fills that important gap, though, doesn't he? That no other player seems to quite fill it, and he plays an important role in the team. But yeah, I think
my concern with Casey Palmer, I think, is fitness, because again he was substituted after 55 minutes to an hour. So I think that's the side that I guess would be nice if he could play 90 minutes. But I thought again he's at the heart of everything that's good about our play. His strength, his passing. For me, he's always a starter. He's always a guy I would have started. I think even with you have a fully fit Callum O'Hare, I think even he's possibly not guaranteed a place in the team. Because I think Palmer's done a good job, but that's my only slight concern with him. The one chance we did have, Reece, obviously in that first half, was that miss from Ellis Sims, a good ball from, I think it was from Palmer to Ellis Sims, which Sims was found sort of on the wide on the right, and the shot was sort of straight at the goalkeeper. I mean, it's just one of those ones you just want to go through the keeper's legs, don't you, for Ellis Sims? You just need a bit of luck to go your side. You know, it's one of those ones.
Yeah, I don't think he really did anything wrong with the shot. I think it was more that he arched his body to bend it round into the far corner, but then tried to give the keeper the eyes and drop it into the other corner. I think it was just one of them things. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. Unfortunately, I think with Sims at the moment, it's just not happening for him. So it will eventually. He's only a young lad, and we've got the best coaching staff in the league, in my opinion. So they haven't. Look, I mean, I know a lot of fans get on his back right now, but I think personally, he will come good. Look at Big Vic when we got him on loan, you know, and then we signed him, and everybody was like, well, why have we signed him? He hasn't really shown that much in the 6 months that we had him. Warrant a contract, and look how he turned out to be. Not that I'm comparing the both, but I'm just saying with, you know, I think we need to get behind our players a little bit more, and there seems to be always one scapegoat. And but like I say, it will come. I believe that.
Yeah, it's a learning curve, isn't it? If he'd have took another touch to it, I think he might have got it past. But yeah, he hit it too quick. Inexperience. He's a young player, like you say. I think we could have done with one more touch and he'd have took it on his left foot and scored. But
I think
wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I think in fairness, he was under pressure a bit from the Sunderland defender. I think he had to take the shot there and then. The only thought when I was watching it in the stadium was, could he have maybe gone with his left foot and gone across the keeper, maybe onto the far post? That's the only thing I would think of. But if you look at how he shaped up the shot, he's kind of shaped up wanting to hit on his right foot. So that's how I saw it. But it was a difficult chance. I don't think I can lay too much blame on him on that one. It was just, you know, on another day when the luck's in, it goes through the keeper's legs and it's in the back of the net, and he's off and running. But you know, it is what it is. One thing we did learn from yesterday's game was Milan Vine Ivac, I hope that's correct pronunciation, but his long throws was a weapon, wasn't it? And also, something I don't know if anyone saw. Did you see the penalty incident there in that game?
Yeah. So, I mean, nobody appealed for it, handball there, but it looks pretty clear cut now, doesn't it? Looking back, it's easy with hindsight to say those sorts of things, though. But wow, what a throw!
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, it's a weapon, isn't it? It's a weapon,
yeah,
isn't it?
It's brilliant.
It's
something else to get excited about. I love it.
Yeah, it's nice to have someone on our side doing that, because I remember watching the Wrexham game in the Cup last season when they had Tozer, I think the centre half, was taking massive long throws and we couldn't defend with a toffee on that day. So it's nice that we've got a weapon. And I think, and I was listening to what Oggy was saying yesterday, is it's different when you're defending a long throw versus a corner kick. Something because it's harder to get purchased on the ball when you're heading the ball away. So I think that might be a useful weapon in the games going forward. What about the two midfielders? Eccles, I thought Eccles had a really good game yesterday. I didn't think Sheep had one of his better games, but what was your thoughts on our two midfielders yesterday? Question to Ivor.
I thought they were both pretty decent. I thought they ran their socks off yesterday. They seemed to be working hard. They looked knackered by the end of it as well, which I think was just the amount of running they both did. But yeah, I didn't think they were too bad.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Reece, certainly. Thought they had a good game.
I think that was the best game I've seen Eccles play. I think he's really starting to step up since Hamer left. Sheaf wasn't on his game he wasn't as consistent as he normally is, but when you're playing at this level, if both of them play badly, then we're in trouble. But where Eccles pretty much, I thought, won the game, he covered a lot of ground where Sheaf maybe was misplacing a few passes. But the problem I have with both of them, they're too similar. They're good in the defensive positions and getting the ball forward, winning the ball back, but there's just that little bit of lack of creativity in there, and I think that's what done us yesterday. Really, I think if we get another midfielder that has got that creativity, I think we'll be all right. It's just they're too similar. I mean, I'm being picky. I'm aware of that, but I think we just need that little bit more creativity in there.
It's nice we've got a big enough squad to be picky on now, though, isn't it? It's great that there's talent there that are waiting to fill anybody's boots that has a bit of an off game or.
Yeah. Got a question here from your average Coventry fan about Eccles and Sheaf. Eccles and Sheaf are as our midfield two moving forward, or do we bring another midfielder and play Yassin in the midfield two? that's another conundrum for Robbins there, Yasin Ayari, who's obviously made his debut yesterday. Is he a player that you expect to see starting in the next game? And if so, how does the team sort of formulate itself from that?
I don't think he starts.
No.
In my opinion, sorry, but I don't think he starts. I think you can see he's got the quality there, but yeah, as you can see from Robin's comments after the game, he says he wants to see him walk less and run more.
Yeah.
And I think the problem we had is when tired legs are in midfield with Eccles and Sheaf. I think when Sunderland were counter-attacking, Ayari was still up with Godden and Wright. He needs to be, with Palmer, he's got that energy and that strength where he'll get stuck in, and he looks a luxury player. I think it'll be good. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he starts next game.
Yeah.
I think he needs to prove a bit more to Robbins. Because what I don't hope is he's come here as the Brighton fans thinking he should be in and around their squad anyway. He's come here as a bit of a luxury player and wants to show what he has, but also what Robbins will demand is hard work, and he'll have to work like everybody else. And if he doesn't, then he'll be carrying on the bench, in my opinion.
I think I'd like to have seen Tats come on for Palmer on Saturday. In my opinion, I think that's what we needed. It's easy to say now, isn't it?
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I was surprised that Sakamoto Tats didn't come on for Palmer. I think he would have given Sunderland an added problem.
Yeah,
he's different threat because he's tricky. He wins fouls, a bit like similar to Callum O'Hare, really. And I was a bit surprised at that. And maybe the only other one maybe is Irari comes on for either Eccles or Sheaf, possibly.
Yeah, it's probably a straight swap for Eccles, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Because I felt as you mentioned earlier, Sarah, I thought they were starting to tire a bit towards the end.
Yeah, you could see there was less movement. They were standing more, and you could see it certainly from where we were sat. It just they looked knackered.
Yeah. Come some more comments here. Kyle Holly, evening guys. What a boring 0-0 draw that was yesterday. Lack creativity in midfield. Ken O'Tomer, our average commentary fan, thinks bring back Martin Waghorn. Yeah, I think so. He's got his shooting boots on at last. It's been long enough.
Hat-trick, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Ken O'Tomer says that maybe Sims is not the sort of striker that suits our side of play. Doesn't fit in similar situations to Waghorn or Walker. Didn't work out for them at Coventry, and it's worked better with other teams. Now, the only thing I'll say in Sims' defence, okay, so I was watching the game second half. There was a couple of moments I felt where he actually got into good positions, but Sheaf or Eccles, whenever they had the ball, it was the right idea. They were trying to find Sims, but it just didn't quite execute the pass. And then it goes straight to a Sunderland shirt, and then the attack breaks down. And I think it's almost one of those ones where I think Sims just needs that better service, that better delivery. I'm trying to make a case for him really at the moment. I mean, do you think that's a fair comment, or do you think I'm wrong? Go to Reece and Sarah.
Yeah, possibly. I think it showed yesterday we haven't got that final ball right just yet. I think it's a tough one because there were times, again, like I said, we were counter-attacking second half especially, and Sims isn't making them runs. He needs to make them runs. But service into the box, I think, does need to improve. But it doesn't seem that that's how we play. We seem to build up the play, and we're still trying to counter attack to a point. But I think the wing backs are not really whipping the ball in, and maybe that is Sim's strength. I haven't seen that yet. I don't think anybody has. But he has to help himself and get himself in the right positions. But like I said, I think he's a confidence player, and I think he needs to, just keep working hard. It will happen. And it will come. But the problem he has is Godden scoring. And Haji Wright has obviously scored a goal and looked quite lively and set up an assist as well. So he's got to roll his sleeves up and want the shirt as well. He hasn't come here to slot straight into the starting 11. We're not that type of team. So that'd be my opinion on it.
It was quite static, I thought, at times. He could have done more. Again, it is just the team playing together and learning their different ways. De Silva, he was crossing quite deep and nobody was there. There was plenty of times where, he played some really, really deep crosses. But yeah, Sims, I think he was just a little bit static, especially first half. I think he sort of improved a little bit second half, but it's a bit of confidence. He's young, like I say. We need a bit more time. Verdict's out at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the second half of the game, and I thought second half we really didn't start at all, did we? I thought Sunderland were the team in the ascendancy. They looked the more threatening side. I can remember Ben Wilson making a good save from a corner from a shot outside the box. How concerned were you by Sunderland and the fact that they look quite threatening generally?
They probably looked a little bit more threatening than they did first half. I still didn't think they looked like they could beat us. It wasn't a huge worry, but then we were a bit lacklustre. We didn't come out fighting. I think we came out quite complacent, and we needed a little bit more fire in our bellies.
Yeah. Reece, what was your sort of initial thoughts on the second half?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was more we let Sunderland back into the game rather than Sunderland creating a lot more. I don't think they had any outlet up front, really. I think they were playing attacking midfielders like Bradley Dack and Bellingham in the striking positions. I couldn't see them scoring, but we did get to a point where we let them back in the game and we were quite sloppy. And, when I personally think that Jack Clark's probably one of the best players in the Championship. So, to give him that time on the ball, it seemed that we were backing off him rather than, putting the pressure on him with the ball. So, there was a little 5-10 minute spell that they looked like they could have done something. But, I think Fads needs a shout from yesterday. He was an absolute unit when he was a warrior. He rolled his ankle.
Yeah.
Me and my dad thought the way he fell awkwardly. And we thought, Fads stay down. Was he done his ankle? Was he done his knee? He gets up, carries on. You're thinking, what's this guy eating? What is he having? We obviously know he has.
He's Iron Man, isn't he? It just
unbelievable.
It looked we were sort of dead in line with him. It didn't look good.
No, it was worrying. And then I think it was 5-10 minutes later, he took one.
And then just batter the guy, and he's indestructible. What? I mean, that's not an open invitation to anybody to batter him, but he is bonkers.
He's like a fine wine, isn't he? He's getting better with age. I keep saying that, maybe we need to buy a defender that's going to potentially replace him. And you think, well, he could play till he's 40 at this rate.
Honestly, no stopping him.
I thought it was our man of the match yesterday. I mean, without McFadden, we lose that game yesterday. I think we lose by 1 or 2 goals. The tackles he's putting in, goal-scoring tackles, blocks, everything was just typified. What a fantastic player he's been for us.
Yeah, and with Latz as well. I think he had a fantastic game. I think he seems quite under the radar a little bit, but he had a great game.
Yeah. I think, to be fair, all 3 of our defenders were pretty good.
Oh God, yeah.
Bobby Thomas, I think, is impressing every game. I think Lati Baudier is impressing. And I think that's an area where I feel I'd like to see us strengthen, just because we need more depth in that defence, because we've only got 4 defenders. And maybe Jake Bidwell could slot in as a 5th, but really we could do another centre half. And obviously we'll talk a bit more about that in the second half of the show. But yeah, I thought McFadden in particular was just incredible yesterday.
Yeah.
We had a bit of luck, didn't we? I think there's one cross they had. I want to say it deflected off Fads, and it kind of thought, oh my God, it's going to be an own goal. And then fortunately, Wilson got there in the nick of time, kind of thing. But that was probably the scariest moment I could think of. I can remember they had a penalty shout as well. Yeah, it was a great pass. Yeah, but they had a slight penalty shout, didn't they, Sunderland? Which I didn't. I've seen it on social media, and it's not a penalty in any day of the week. But of course, they'll say it was a penalty. But I thought we did start to improve second half, didn't we? I mean, obviously, let's get to Ayari's introduction to the side, and obviously his first touch pretty much is when he tried to do a David Beckham from the halfway line, or a David Bell, shall I say, from the halfway line, and I was hoping it to go in, but he didn't. But what's your initial thoughts about? Let's go to you, Sarah. Ayari, is he a player that it could be a really good signing? Does he excite you when he scores one piece?
Not yet. I don't think he's not a definite starter yet. But you know, again, it's really early in the season. It's really early in his career with us. Yeah, not at the minute. I'm not sort of set ablaze by him, but he's got potential.
Well, what he did do actually was a great pass to Hadji Wright in the second half, which brilliant through ball, and Hadji Wright, unfortunately, a bit like Ellis Sims, hit the ball straight at the goalkeeper. And that was kind of our day, wasn't it? Really, we just didn't. Whenever we attempt at goal, it was either straight at the goalkeeper or it went, over the bar. It was just one of them days, wasn't it? But Reece Ayari, was he someone that you could see maybe? I think you mentioned earlier about the fact that, do you think he'll be a sub, for the foreseeable future, or do you think he might come into starting 11 at some point?
I think he will eventually, but we've got to remember we've got Callum O'Hare probably a month away as well, and Alan back on the grass. But I think you saw some glimpses there of a good player, but I mean, he needs to work hard, and that's as simple as that. I think, he looked like he played for the full 90, the way he was jogging back, bless him, like he's got, steel toe cap boots on, the way he was running back, bless him. But I think that'll come. We don't know how much game time he's had. Has he been playing a lot of competitive football in pre-season? Is it, we don't know how many minutes he's had, but I think he'll come good. I just think he needs to buy into our philosophy of working hard as a team, and I think he will. I think it was unfortunate he got the ball and he was the only player in an attacking position and had a pop, didn't he? But he's got the confidence to have a go from the halfway line. So the glimpses are there. I just think, like everybody, given time, he'll gel and fit into the team, I'm sure.
Yeah. And just overall 0-0 draw. I mean, obviously we want to win your home games, and obviously we didn't. But it's best, if you don't win, you don't lose. But 2 points dropped, would you say, Sarah, in the end?
Yeah, definitely. 2 points lost. Yeah,
disappointing. Reece, what was your overall sort of overriding emotion from that game yesterday? Just disappointment, or better than a defeat, kind of?
It's more of a tut, isn't it? You tut when the full time whistle goes. I think we could have won the game. We had the chances to win the game, but you look at the start we've had, and we've 4 points from the first two home games, and Leicester a close game that could have gone another way on another day, and a draw at Swansea. So I think we have had a tough start, and I think we've got Watford. They're there for the taking. I think they lost today at home to Blackburn. So, yeah, I'm not overly disappointed. I think the result yesterday, on another day, we do win that game. But when it's a long season, so I'll take the start. Well, we had a terrible start last season, didn't we? So it's a positive, I suppose, the way you can look at it.
Yeah, I think we're bottom after 11 games, weren't we? And I think we hard to have any points. So
yeah,
I think it's a steady start. Early days. Bit disappointed with the result, in all honesty. I thought Sunderland were quite good defensively. Difficult side to break down. I felt a comment here that Glenn makes, which I think is quite true, is that we missed that ball carrying that Alan Hamer or O'Hare give us. I think someone who can just run at their defenders and maybe just win a free kick, or creates opportunities. And I think that's something we possibly lacked a little bit yesterday, but. We're halfway in the league, 12th. If you win against Watford, that probably takes us around top 10 into the break. But it's a marathon, not a sprint, as the old saying goes. And do you think at the moment, are you encouraged by sort of the from what you're seeing so far, are you encouraged by the fact that we could we'll click and we'll be a side that will be there or thereabouts challenging for the playoffs this season? I'll go to you, Reece, and go to Sarah.
Yeah, I think so. I think if we're playing like this now, where the team have not gelled yet, and we'll start building that chemistry between the attackers and the midfielders, the link-ups for the number 10s, and our wing-backs as well that are brand new. We've got two new lads at the centre-halves. I feel that we're going to have a good season. I think it's just, I still think we need a couple more in. Obviously, we'll cover that anyway. But overall, yeah, I'm quite positive. I'm definitely more excited this season than I have been for for as long as I can remember, to be honest. So I think we've just got to enjoy the ride. We're not going to win every game. We're going to be competitive in every game. And I think, unfortunately, where Vic's left and obviously Gus, we've got to change our style a little bit. I think last year you saw Gus get the ball and Vic would just run straight out wide and we'd have that different outlet. So, we've got to change our style. We've got some good new players in. So let's just enjoy the ride and see what happens.
Yeah. Sarah, last word.
We're certainly getting more possession. We're better at attacking. I think there's so much potential. It's exciting. It's really exciting to be a fan right now to see what is to come. So, yeah, I think there is a spark there that's going to be great. We've just got to light it and sit back and enjoy the ride in the meantime. That's
what I like to hear, a bit of positivity. That's good to hear. I'm going to get a few more comments out before we go to the ad break. Glenn says that Lato Bodio was class again. I think we all agree with that. He was brilliant. Steve Johnson, Fads, another George Curtis. Got to admit, George Curtis before my time, but I've heard a lot of good things about him. Very, very good centre half. Played a lot of games for us. A legend of the football club, as we all know. But yeah, that's some compliment. Watford is a must-win game for us, says Glenn, as they've only won one away game this year so far, and we've only lost one home game the last 12 home matches. I think with Watford, I'd say they haven't won in 4 games, so I think it's a good time to play, and you'd say on paper. So I think it's. I mean, obviously that's we'll talk a bit more about that on our next show, but I think that's definitely a game we've got to target 3 points. Anything less than that's not good enough for me. So if we can get 3 points, that'd be really, really good. Danny feels that with our new signings, we'll be a strong force this season, and hopefully we'll be looking for the automatic promotions, play up Sky Blues. And last but not least, Claudio says plenty of positives, more than negatives. I thought yesterday the match should have been won in the first half. Someone changed formation for the second half, and we didn't. So that may explain why we struggled to get a foothold in the game. So we're going to take a small ad break. It'll be 46 seconds. You can count them if you want. And then in part 2 of the show, we're going to be talking about transfer business. Who are we looking to bring in? So any comments you've got on that, obviously send them in to us and we'll get them read out, and we'll discuss them with my 2 guests, Reese and Sarah. So we'll be back very, very shortly.
Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Sky Blue Fans TV podcast. With me, Mark Smith. We're joined by Reece Small and Sarah Phipps. So let's talk a bit about the next few days. Obviously, the transfer window is upon us. We're linked with a European midfielder, is what we've been told as sort of rumours to go. But defensively, I think is where we need to strengthen, as I mentioned earlier. Where else do you think? Do you think another striker? Let's go to you, Sarah. Where do you think we need to strengthen if you're in Mark Robbins' position right now?
I still think we go for a midfielder. Personally, I think that's where we're needing a little bit more strength, even if it's just a rotation of the squad, getting having more irons in our fire. But yeah, midfielder is where I'd go. But yeah. I'm not the man in charge, so
no. Reece, what was your? There's been rumours about Jake Bidwell actually. Just before we go to incomings, let's get outgoings, because a comment here about from Glenn about thoughts on Bidwell. There's a few rumours flying about Bidwell going to Preston. Would you be surprised if that happens?
It's a funny one because I think we need him because it's a long season. I think De Silva's shown some good attacking ability, but I think he's not as good as a defender as what Bidwell is. Bidwell can also slot in the back 3. I would personally want to keep him. I don't think he will start as many games as he did last year. Obviously, he was the only left wing back we had until January. But I think he's a player that we need to keep, but to bring in somebody else, which is a shame, really.
He rumoured to go last year. Is that Bidders was he going last year and then he stayed and then so he's probably got itchy feet. He's going. I don't know. I wouldn't be too. Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised.
I'll be honest. I'll be really surprised that this happens. I think Jake Bidwell has been a really good player for us. He was a good player for us last season. I think he's been a bit unlucky not to be in the starting 11. I think Jay Silva is a decent attacking left back. We haven't really spoke too much about him tonight. I just think defensively, I think Bidwell's a better player. I was a bit critical with De Silva because I felt he was partly responsible for the Swansea goal last weekend. And I'd be amazed if we get rid of, we don't have a big enough squad as it is. So I'd be amazed if we let Bidwell go personally, because I think he was a really good player for us last season. Got us to the playoffs. So I'd be disappointed if that was true. But I think it's just rumours. I think it's just there was talk I think on social media about it, but I'd be surprised if that happens because I think Bidwell will come into the team at some point. So I'd be surprised if he goes.
De Silva had a better game yesterday though than previous, so he's shown signs of improvement, which is all we can hope for, isn't it? With the squad as they get more into the training regime and into how we play and creating new ways of how we play.
Yeah. Glenn's going to comment here about we need 3 players in. Leicester's Luke Thomas, a left back on loan. There's a rumour going around. Kitchen styles of Barnsley and maybe a midfielder as well, like Alex Mowat from West Brom. I think Mowat's kind of that ball-winning midfielder. Do you think those sort of players, recent players that kind of excite you? Do you think they're the players that we should be get looking to sign?
I think so. With the styles, I think because he's a left footer in midfield as well, I think it'd be quite good to bring in. It just depends, doesn't it? Depends on what we've got available. I'm sure we've got a bit of funds left, which we've never ever said, so it's quite positive. Just seeing what Danny's put up as well, left centre back, centre midfield, and a striker. I think that's pretty bang on, to be honest. I think we need another centre half, possibly not a left centre back if we've got Bidwell, Lassa Baudier that can play there, and obviously we've got Binks in there as well. But I do think we need another centre half, like I say, a ball-winning centre midfielder that can carry the ball, and another striker, possibly a loan maybe from Premier League side. I don't think Tavares is going to be up to much. I know he's been injured, but he's shown little glimpses. But I think we're at another level now to where we were when he was in and around the team. So I'd probably send, when Tavares is fit, I'd think it'd be a good chance to get him out on loan and get him to play week in, week out and see what he can do, because he's not going to start games for us, and he'll, like Bobbins was doing last year, he was getting 2 minutes to 5 minute cameos. We're not going to see anything from him. So maybe Tavares out on loan and bring in a lone striker ourselves who's got a bit more quality.
Yeah, Danny also makes the point about the reason that Bidwell's been linked away is because we're looking at Luke Thomas rumours to be coming in on a loan, but it doesn't make sense in the sense that why would you get rid of a player that you've signed permanently for a player on a loan, unless we're going to sign Luke Thomas? That's the thing. So I'm just a bit miffed by that one personally. If it's true, of course, it might be a load of codswallop for all we know. You never know. You know what it is like with.
I think Bidwell, like you said, Mark, Bidwell was good last year and he improved as we went on. I don't see any reason for him to go. I think he can play defensively. He's solid. If we're winning 1-0 away at Southampton, for example, and they look like they're getting the better of us, you bring on Bidwell, who's a better defender than De Silva. So, I don't think he'll go anywhere, but I'll be surprised if he does, to be honest.
Yeah. Danny just come on saying loan to buy, so that's possibly. But I guess let's just say it was true that they're looking to move Bidwell on. Is it just a sign that Robbins is just being quite ruthless in that he wants to improve the overall quality of the squad, because if you notice this season, we've only got a couple of loans, whereas last season we had 5 loans. So I think it's good that we're signing players, but and we're signing players on longer contracts as well. So I think it's a good thing. But I just think Bidwell leaving would be an absolutely nonsensical decision in my view, because I think he's if anything, I think it's been a bit unfortunate not to be in the starting 11. That's just my view. But I take Sarah's point. I think De Silva did have a better game yesterday. But I still think there's more to come from him, not just him, but from the team generally. I think there is more to come.
Yeah, it'd be madness, wouldn't it? Like you say, to sell players to get loans in. That doesn't make sense. We want our players that are our players, not loans. It's not great for a squad anyway. But yeah, so I agree with that. Yeah, it would be madness, but
another player to throw into the mix. Danny's mentioned that Lewis O'Brien is one of our top targets. I think he's back at Forest now. I think he was playing in the States, from if memory serves me right. And I think he would be a player that would improve the squad. I think he's a guy who can score goals, and I think he would do possibly the midfielder that we're looking for in terms of maybe being a bit more creative and providing more assists. Do you feel though? Is that an area? Sarah, is that an area we need to improve on? Because although we did laud the performances of Eccles and Sheaf, they do lack that creativity. That's the only slight concern with them. I felt at times with Eccles, there were times where he gave the ball away a little bit cheaply, and when we're playing ourselves into trouble a bit. Is that an area that is that something that you're concerned with?
Not too concerned. I think they're finding their feet in a very different team now, and they're playing differently. They're not. Nobody's just like whacking it up to Jokeres anymore and hoping he scores. So it's a different team. It's a different style of playing. It's got to take time to find its feet and work out, I think. So.
I've got a couple more comments here from our audience. We live in Diney's Town says, I say every show now, but would still love to see us bring in Jesse Bosch from Willem 2 in Holland. Would be a perfect midfielder to bring in. And to be fair, we have got a good track history of bringing in midfielders from Holland. Someone who apparently left recently. Can't remember his name, but I think he was watching the game yesterday, per all accounts.
I think he was.
Yeah, I think he still loves the club, really.
Yeah. Did you think it was strange him there, or?
Not really, because I think he loves the club, and he's, I think his Coventry's in his heart. I think he still lives in Leamington. I think from what I know. Yeah. So he clearly has. He still loves the club, and I don't begrudge him going on a separate subject. No. I think every player has a short career, and if you get the opportunity to play at the highest level, then take it. So I think people were surprised that he played at Sheffield United, because I think people felt he could have played at maybe a Fulham or a Brentford. Whether they're interested in him or not, or they made an offer, we don't know that. So that might be the reason. Yeah. But no, I think I wish him well. Everyone wishes him well, but we all wish he's still with us. But he isn't. Yeah. We have to move on from him. So it is what it is. Now another player, Reece, that's been brought up from the average Coventry fan about Norton Cuffy going to Millwall. I mean, are you upset, or do you think? I think personally, Aaron Ivac has done a great job, and but do you think that was possibly another player we could have brought in to give competition? Because obviously, without Van Ivac, we've got maybe Sakamoto who can play in that position. But do you think Norton Cuffy, we could have looked at him or not?
No, I don't think so. I've changed my opinion on this. I think he got better as the season went on. But I just think we've got Milan in there now, who I think is going to be a fan favourite. The way he pumps the crowd, and I think he'll only get better. Soon, like all the other new players, getting used to how we play and how Robbins wants him to play. I think we could have brought him in, but he'd have just been a backup. I think we've got Sakamoto that can fill a hole potentially, but we've also got Josh Eccles that can play there. And I think Josh, when Eccles has played there, he's done a job. He's not going to be a first choice right wing back anywhere, but I think he does a job. So maybe that's the thinking behind not bringing in somebody else. We've got the cover there potentially, but if Van Elwitt, if he gets injured, touch wood, it doesn't happen, but we end up looking really short, don't we? Do we end up having Sakamoto and Eccles there for a long period of time? I don't think that'll work. So there's the argument, but trust Robbins, he knows what he's doing. But I personally, Norton Cuffey's gone to Millwall. Yeah, I think we've got an upgrade on him anyway, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I liked him, though, but yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think his first game at Burnley, I thought he was really impressive. Actually, I thought he had a really good debut against Burnley when he started for us. But there were games I felt and to be fair, he's 18, 19 years old. He's still a kid, really. I would say that, and I think he will possibly, become a really, really good defender in the next 5-6 years or whenever. But I think for now, I think it's the right decision as well. I tend to agree with that. I mean, Danny makes the point that Eccles, Van Eybeek, Sakamoto, and Lati Baudier can all play right back on that side. So, but there are options in that position. It's not like we are short. I think the left side is centre half is a must, because obviously Lati Baudier is playing that position, and obviously he's a right-footed player. So that's probably an area that I'm sure Mark Robbins is looking to address. I think Kitchen is someone who plays in that position, but I can't really comment on what he's like as a player. I've not seen enough of him to really make a comment on him. But I'll leave that to Mark Robbins on that one. But I think that's one area I would strengthen. What about striking positions? Because if you look at the strikers, we've got obviously Haji Wright, Ellis Sims, Matty Godden, and then you're looking at Tavares or a Bikwu, the two youngsters. I mean, is that an area, Sarah, you'd be looking to possibly bring in if you're in Mark Robbins' position?
You wouldn't discount another striker coming in, an out-and-out striker, maybe. It depends who they've got their eye on, doesn't it? The right person, I think. Yeah, I don't think they'd turn it down.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I don't really know many options really striker-wise. But Reece, is that an area you'd maybe try and bring another striker, or are you happy with what we've got at the moment?
Yeah, I think we need somebody who's a bit small, nippy, and pacey, maybe, just to bring a plan B to the game. I think there was that lad from United that there was rumours around. Is it what's his name? Emerson, not Emerson. It might be him, but I know a United fan. Unfortunately, I'm married into a United family, but my brother-in-law rates him really highly. And said that he's looked really sharp in pre-season. But I think we need to look at that Cameron Archer type player who's been on loan for the last couple of seasons. He's got his move now, hasn't he? But I think that type of player that we need, who has got that pedigree behind them and who can bring a different style to our forward line.
Yeah. I think we do need one. I think we need to keep the competition going. But I guess the converse arguments, we've spent quite a bit of money on Sims and Haji Wright, and if one of those goes on the bench, you think, well, they're not really getting a chance. I guess that's the question. But I think that's what I was going to say. My next point is you need another striker, because if injury happens, suspensions, then you've got to have someone to bring in. I'm not sure if a Bikwu or Tavares. To be fair, Bikwu looked really good in pre-season, but I can't really judge him on that because you're playing against League Two sides, and Milton Keynes Dons were absolutely atrocious in that game. I saw them in pre-season. I think even I would have fancied scoring against them if I was fit. But that I'm not sure they're ready for Championship football. Is what I'm trying to say. So I think that's an area we need to improve. So I think the strikers. I think the other rumour I heard today was Ryan Howley potentially being moved on to Dundee in Scotland. I don't think he's a player that's going to feature too much this season. But Sarah, you think that's a good move for Ryan Howley potentially?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite ready for first team football.
No,
but
not yet.
Tavares, Danny makes a point about Tavares. Feels that he needs to go on a loan as well. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I guess the only thing I'll say to Tavares' case is he's come back from a bad Achilles injury, which I kind of know from experience is not a particularly nice injury. And it's pretty. Although he ruptured Achilles, I didn't. Mine was not quite ruptured, but I know from a footballing point of view, it takes a while to come back from that. So I would be surprised if he's not got a move this season. So I think he'll probably get moved on. Yeah, I think looking at our next, I mean, let's just go to the next sort of few fixtures. Obviously, got Watford in the break, but Watford before the break, shall I say, and then we've got a couple of away games at Hull and Cardiff. Do you think? I mean, let's just briefly talk about it. It's Watford at home. That's got to be a 3-pointer, isn't it? Really, Sarah, that one.
Yeah. We've got to take the 3 points there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and looking ahead to the Watford game, Reece, just a quick one. I mean, do you feel that? Who do you think he'll go up front? Because obviously he went with Ellis Sims and Godden. Do you think he might go back to Hadji Wright again, or do you think he might persist with Sims and just give him another game up top?
I think Hadji Wright has to start. To be honest, I think against Watford we need to go. We need, like you said, we need to go and win that game. I think we've got to just take it to them from the off. Watford are not in the best position at the moment with the club, and they're always up and down. I think they've lost a couple of players as well. So for us, I think we just need to attack them and go for it. And I think with Wright up there, he gets the fans excited, doesn't he? When he gets the ball, when he's running and running with the ball at defenders, and I think that will get the crowd behind the players. I think that's what you have to do. I think Wright has to start, and Sims just needs to fight his way back in my opinion.
Yeah,
get some competition between the boys. I definitely agree. I think Wright definitely starts. Wright and Godden up front. Yeah, that's my starting.
Yeah. Then he goes for Sims and Wright. Do you think that's the case there, Sims and Wright? Do you think them two's a strike partnership, or do you think?
No. Sorry.
I tend to agree with that. I think no.
You can't drop them. You can't drop.
No.
You can't. He's our top goal scorer at the moment. You can't drop.
Yeah. His point is that the thing is that the cycle looked totally different, as we'll bring 3 more in. So it's an interesting one, but that'll be one for possible potential debate in the future shows. Now going back to signings quickly, or players that we could be looking to get. Claudia makes the point about Alex Pritchard from Sunderland. I think he came as a sub yesterday, wanting to leave. In that sort of attacking midfield, I think Alex Pritchard's a player that we should be looking at. I'll go with Sarah. Do you think Alex Pritchard, maybe?
Yeah, he had a good game. He played well. Why not? Yeah. That sort of attacking midfield.
Pritchard,
when Callum's fit, though, do we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the conundrum, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because and also
would we even be having this conversation if Callum was fit and fighting for that place? So.
Yeah. Sorry, Reece, go on.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. No, I think Pritchard is probably on a decent wage there. I personally wouldn't want to bring him in even on lesser wage than what he's on now. I can imagine him being on a fair whack. We've got Palmer, we've got Sakamoto, let him play there, and we've got Callum O'Hare that's coming back. I think he's going to be like a new signing, October, November time. He'll work his way back in, and all will be forgotten. I think we need another centre midfielder. I think like the Lewis O'Brien that's been thrown around, a Callum Styles type player, possibly. I don't know enough about Styles, but we just need that type of player, and we've obviously got Ayari we've signed on loan. So Pritchard for me doesn't make sense. I'd rather a younger, up and coming player. You know, we find somebody in the market that we have done over the years gone by that we've got that talent. That's what I would look into anyway.
Yeah, fair point.
Another player, obviously more than likely to move on, is Simon Moore. Sarah, I think Simon Moore was one of them players that he started off really well for us, but he just had those couple of really bad games last season, a couple of howlers, and he's never ever recovered from that. Would you be sad to see him go, Simon Moore, or do you think or not?
No, not really. I think what have we got? 5 goalies now, 4. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it'll be a huge loss to the side. Personally,
no, I tend to agree with that. Simon Moore, he needs a move, doesn't he, Reece? Oh,
Sorry. Yeah, someone needs to move on. I think it's unfortunate he had a good 3/4 of the season, the first season he came. His confidence is shot to bits, and it doesn't look like he's getting back in. I'm still not convinced on Wilson. I'm sorry, there's some fans out there that love Wilson.
Yeah.
There was a save he made today. I mean, how can I have this argument? He was, he had the most clean sheets last year, but I'm just not. He's got better commanding his area.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think his place is secure. He's not the best. We could get better.
I think there was a shot yesterday that he parried out, and I was like, "Why? What are you doing?" And I thought he made the second save, but according to me, Dad, it was cleared off the line. So I'll take his word for that because I haven't seen the replay. But I'm not convinced. I just think there's a mistake in him. The other lad we got from Barnsley, I watched him a pre-season game. He looked a little bit shaky, but that doesn't define him as a keeper. But I'm still not convinced by Wilson. I think he's a great character. I just think that it's a tough one. I know there's an argument. People are probably watching this saying, "What is he on about?" Because he had the most clean sheets last year. But for me, I think it's a defence. The defence have kept the clean sheets for Wilson.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't really remember a game last year that you went, bloody hell, Wilson kept us in this.
Yeah,
that's my opinion, but I'm entitled to it.
apart from that goal,
I was about to say that. I was like, well, I remember him for the goal. Doesn't matter what happens now. He scored that goal. So that's how he remembered.
I'll give him that. He come off his shin, knee, ankle, went in.
Yeah.
And that's the point. That's the point Danny's making there about the same thing. You see,
he's definitely shielded by our defence, but
I know Danny's a big fan of Ben Wilson. So.
He's got the gift of the gab, and he's great for the squad, and
Change your subject a little bit. What about? Go on, Rhys.
Sorry, Mark. Just quickly, one problem I've got is if McFadden gets injured. If he gets injured, I worry because it's how he organises the defence. And even when he receives the ball, he's asking for the next player to be in that position. I think he's so organised. I don't think we've obviously covered McFadden already, but I think we'll realise how much we miss him when he's not in the side. And I think that's when you'll see how good Wilson is.
Personally. We don't want that to happen, though.
No, we don't.
No.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think if you cast your mind back to last season when McFadden was injured for quite a few games, we really struggled when, I felt we didn't look the same side without him. So totally agree on that. And also the problem with McFadden is, was he 37 now?
Yeah.
And I think he's almost like Peter Pan, isn't he? He's just
got to keep wheeling him out.
Yeah. He's not the quickest, but he reads play, anticipation of play.
He's got the knowledge, hasn't he, that comes with being 37, and he must be great for the young lads there, just to learn from him and grow from him.
Yeah. Got a couple more comments about potential defenders. Danny feels that Ronnie Edwards at Peterborough can see that one happening. Glenn makes a point about signing someone like a Kitchen is it would be a good addition from a point of view of leading an organisation, and he's got that sort of attributes of being a captain, which he mentions there. Claudio makes a point that Wilson really has a shot to save, which concerns him because goals to shots ratio is high. I think that's kind of what we spoke about just a minute ago. Latobedier could be a captain, leader of our defence, though. Yeah, I think possibly. I think he's done nothing wrong since in the games that I've seen him play. He's been really, really good.
We've still got Binks as well.
And we've got Binks as well.
Yeah.
And Glenn says that Waghorn should be back inside because he's like Lionel Messi now, like Lionel Messi after getting free against Peterborough. But anyway, enough about ex-players. Should I bring
he scored more goals in one half.
Yeah, he has.
Just saying about Waghorn. He scored more goals in one half than he did for 2 seasons with us.
Yeah, I was going to say he's found something that he didn't have with us. So let's not be too sad.
Comment here from Claudio, about the atmosphere. We need to make the fans we need the fans to make the stadium feel like a fortress. It's a two-way thing. Fans and players boo and hiss the opposition and get behind our boys. Did you feel the atmosphere was a bit flat yesterday? Or do you think that's just a reflection on the game that we saw in 90 minutes?
Yeah, it certainly quieted down second half. It wasn't the place it was first half. Yeah, definitely. It did lack a little something yesterday.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Reece used there, obviously with myself, and obviously Sarah was in attendance. Atmosphere, I didn't hear any chants of twist and shout. Didn't hear any chants.
No.
There's only one Mark Robbins. I didn't hear any Doug King chants. It was pretty flat, really. You know, for us Singers Corner standards. I mean, do you think that's just again a reflection on the game that we saw yesterday, or is it, you know, what do you put it down to?
Frustration as well. Reece, you're on mute.
Yeah.
I think
He's on mute. I think his internet might have gone as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
yeah.
I think it was frustration. If I'm honest, I think it was a tense game. We were all sort of hoping, and there was a guy sat behind me having a one-man party. If that's any help, he was the whole load of atmosphere all on his own. But
yeah. Oh, because you sit on the bench side, don't you? Is that right?
No, opposite.
Oh, you stand
in 20, yeah.
Oh, I'm in 20 as well. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we're at rugby, so.
Okay, right at the front. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was slightly disappointed in the atmosphere, but I think we just need. I think if we got that goal, I think
I think it would have been a complete different game. The stadium would have erupted, but it's one of those, isn't it? The fans feed off the players feed off the fans. You know, and we get a few sort of whoop, and everybody gets fired up, and then it just fizzles as frustration sets in, as anticipation sets in.
Yeah. Reece, obviously a crowd 25,000 at the game yesterday. Did you feel the atmosphere was a bit flat in your opinion? Oh, I think he's no. I think I'll take him off. Yeah, we'll bring it back when he's ready. I think my overall summary is I feel it's 2 points dropped. I thought last week at Swansea you could argue it's a point gained because any point away from home is a good point.
Yeah,
I still felt we could have won that game. I think my overriding emotion is I think there's more to be positive about than negative. Because
absolutely, didn't come out there heads down, shoulders down. Came out there, proud, but maybe frustrated. But there was definitely some glimpses of what we can do. I think our possession is a lot better, and we're certainly getting more into that final third. But we're just haven't got finishing yet. We just can't.
I think that the other point is the fact that I think teams are coming to our ground. They know we're a good side, and I'm just going to bring Riggs back in now. They know we're a good side, and I think they play in a way where they're quite defensive, and we're going to have to get used to that a bit more. I feel in for all games because teams aren't going to come necessarily attack at us. I think they'll just sit back and try and hit us on the counter, like Sunderland were trying to do. I felt so. Yeah. We've got to find a way of passing your way through that. I think possibly that's why maybe a Sakamoto coming on could have changed it. Someone who can actually run at players. Obviously, we haven't got Callum here available, Jamie Allen, but he's a player who is available to us. Who I felt that was a mistake, in my opinion. We should have brought him on for Casey Palmer. So that's the only thing I would have done differently yesterday.
There's less urgency about us as well. We seem to have that confidence where we're controlling it. We're playing, letting them take us at our game rather than snatching balls back and not making anything. Yeah, I think we have got a certain commanding on the pitch now. Yeah.
Reece is back. I hope you can hear us, Reece. Talking about the atmosphere yesterday, it was a bit flat, wasn't it, really? I guess that was just symptomatic of the game itself and the fact that we just couldn't find a way past Sunderland. And I thought Sunderland were a difficult side to break down, but what was your view on the atmosphere?
Yeah, I think we class Sunderland as a bit of a derby, don't we, I suppose, with going back how many years it was. They've always held a grudge, haven't they, the Sunderland fans? But I think, Yeah, it seemed. I think it was a reflection on the game. I think you're right. It was a case that if we score in the first 20, 25 minutes, then the crowd are lifted. But I think it was just a frustrating afternoon, like we've covered. I think it just didn't happen for us. You know, the build-up play was good, and then we just couldn't get past them. I thought that Ballard, the lad at the back for Sunderland, had a good game. But every time we had that breakthrough, Sunderland had that experience of just taking a yellow card. You know, there was a time when Sims went running through and got wiped out. Yeah. And every time we had an opportunity to create something, like on a counter attack or a little ball through, Sunderland just nullified it. I just think that's what happened. We're going to have them games, I think, unfortunately.
They took Godden out. Well, yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just stopped play straight away, didn't it? Completely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they had their game plan, and I think it worked, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of comments here. Mark Harrington, I think the fans are quietly nervous that we've panicked, but with some of the players we got, I'm one of them. Just hope I'm proven wrong. Danny says we are hard to beat the CBS. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, true.
And he said that we should be unbeaten. We were robbed at Leicester. Start's been tough, but 5 points isn't a bad return and 2 clean sheets as well. So yeah, I think the thing is that in the games that and also Claudia just adds that Leicester won 3 matches in the final minutes. Very, very fortunate. Yeah. Well, I don't think they can always do that every game, and hopefully they'll be dropping points. But I think overall, I'm going to say it's an encouraging start. I think we haven't. I know we're 12th in the league, but early days. Let's look at the positives. We were bottom of the league around this time last season, so we are halfway and
going
only
into
1 defeat. Yeah, and we've had a couple of clean sheets, and I think defensively we've been good. I think you're right, Reece. I think keeping McFadden is absolutely crucial because we need a leader at the back who can organise defence, and generally he's been a rock in our back three. But in fairness, the new guys have come and done really well, but I think we do need another defender. I think looking forward, a midfielder who can defend and be creative, like a Hamer, would be I think on the priority of Mark Robbins' shopping list, and possibly another striker, because I think we've got 3 starter strikers, but I think we do need another striker to add competition for places. Got players coming back, Alan O'Hare. So I think there are definitely positives. If we can get a win before the break against Watford, that takes us to 8 points. And then we've got a couple of away games at Hull and Cardiff. I think they're games there. I think we can get at least 7 points in 3 games. You know, if we play well, if we get 7 points, I'll be delighted with that. And there's no reason why we can't go on a run and stay unbeaten. But let's finish the show off tonight and be positive and think that we are going to get something at Watford, and we'll get those 3 points, and then we can certainly go into the break with a smile on our faces. So that will be that. So that's what I finish for tonight. Thanks to my guests Sarah and Reece. Thanks for coming on. Thanks everyone for all your comments. It's been really good. I hope you enjoyed the show. Our next show will be on Thursday. So we've got the Watford preview show. We've got a podcast guest from their podcast called Do Not Scratch Your Eyes. That's their Watford podcast. So we'll be starting at 7:30 on Thursday night, and then obviously we've got the review show, and hopefully we'll be sitting here talking about another 3 points for us against Watford. So that's Sunday. So they're our next 2 shows. So thank you everyone. Good night, and play up Sky Blues. We'll speak to you very soon.
Play up Sky Blues.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.